Clinical psychologist. They help people with psychological disorders adjust to the demands of life. Counseling psychologist. Use interviews and tests to define their clients' problems. School psychologist, employed by school systems to identify and assist students who have problems that interfere with learning. Educational psychologists attempt to facilitate learning, but they usually focus on course planning and instructional methods for a school system rather than on individual children. Developmental psychologist studies physical, emotional, cognitive, and social changes that occur over a lifetime. Personality psychologists identify and measure human traits and determine influences on human thought processes, feelings, and behavior. Social psychologists are concerned with the nature and causes of individuals' thoughts, feelings, and behavior in social situations. Environmental psychologist studies relationships between people and their physical environment. Industrial psychologists focus on the relationships between people and work. Organizational psychologists study the behavior of people in organizations such as businesses. Human factor psychologists make technical systems such as automobile dashboards and computer keyboards more user-friendly. Consumer psychologists study the behavior of shoppers who explain and predict their behavior. Health psychologists study the effects of stress on health problems such as headaches, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Forensic psychologists apply psychology to the criminal justice system. Sports psychologists help athletes concentrate on their performance and not on the crowd. They use cognitive strategies such as positive visualization to enhance performance and avoid choking under pressure. Pure research is a type of scientific investigation that seeks to gain knowledge for the sake of knowledge itself. Applied research is research undertaken to solve a specific problem. Introspection is examination of one's own thoughts and feelings. Structuralism attempts to break down conscious experience into objective sensations such as sight or taste, and subjective feelings such as emotional responses and mental images such as memories or dreams. Functionalism is a school of psychology that focuses on our mental and behavioral processes, functions, and how they enable us to adapt, survive, and flourish. Behavioralism is the school of psychology that defines psychology as the study of observable behavior and studies relationships between stimuli and responses. Reinforcement is a stimulus that follows a response and increases the frequency of a response. Gestalt psychology is the school of psychology that emphasizes the tendency to organize perceptions into meaningful wholes. Psychoanalysis is the school of psychology that emphasizes the importance of unconscious motives and conflicts as determinants of human behavior. The biological perspective is the approach to psychology that seeks to understand the nature of links between biological processes and structures such as the functioning of the brain, the endocrine system, and heredity on the one hand, and behavior on the mental and behavior and mental processes on the other. The humanistic existential perspective is the appreciation of the spiritual nature of a person and emphasizes struggles for self-fulfillment and dignity. The sociocultural perspective is the view that focuses on the roles of ethnicity, gender, culture, and socioeconomic status in behavior and mental processes. A neuron is a specialized cell of the nervous system that receives and transmits messages. Glial cells are cells that remove dead neurons and waste products from the nervous system, nourish and insulate neurons, form myelin, and play a role in neural transmission of messages. Dendrites are root-like structures attached to the cell body of a neuron that receive impulses or incoming messages from other neurons. An axon is a long, thin part of a neuron that transmits impulses to other neurons from bulb-shaped structures called axon terminals or terminal buttons. Myelin is a fatty substance that encases and insulates axons, facilitating transmission of neural impulses. Afferent neurons are neurons that transmit messages from sensory receptors to the spinal cord and brain, also called sensory neurons. Efferent neurons are neurons that transmit messages from the brain or spinal cord to muscles and glands, also called motor neurons. Nerves are a bundle of axons from many neurons. Nerves are a bundle of axons from many neurons. The central nervous system is the brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system are the parts of the nervous system consisting of the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is the division of the peripheral nervous system that connects the central nervous system with sensory receptors, skeletal muscles, and the surface of the body. Autonomic nervous system is the division of the nervous system that regulates glands and activities such as heartbeat, respiration, digestion, and the dilation of pupils. The sympathetic division is the branch of the autonomic nervous system that is most active during emotional responses, such as fear and anxiety, that spend the body's reserves of energy. Parasympathetic division is the branch of the autonomic nervous system that is most active during processes such as digestion that restore the body's reserves of energy. The spinal cord is a column of nerves within the spine that transmits messages to and from the brain to muscles and glands throughout the body. Spinal reflexes are a simple, unlearned response to a stimulus that may involve only two neurons. Gray matter is are grayish neurons and neural segments that are involved in spinal reflexes. White matter are axon bundles. White matter are axon bundles that carry messages to and from the brain. The cornea is the transparent layer forming the front of the eye. The iris is a muscular membrane whose dilation regulates the amount of light that enters the eye. The pupil is the black-looking opening in the center of the iris, through which light enters the eye. The lens is a transparent body behind the iris that focuses an image on the retina. The retina is the area of the inner surface of the eye that contains rods and cones. Photoreceptors are cells that respond to light. Bipolar cells are neurons that conduct neural impulses from rods and cones to ganglion cells. Ganglion cells are neurons whose axons form the optic nerve. The optic nerve is the nerve that transmits electrical impulses from the retina to the brain. Rods are rod-shaped photoreceptors that are sensitive only to the intensity of light. Cones are cone-shaped photoreceptors that transmit sensations of color. Fovea is the area near the center of the retina that contains only cones and that is the center of focus for clearest vision. A blind spot is an area of the retina where axons from ganglion cells meet to form the optic nerve. Visual acuity is the sharpness of vision. Repression is a defense mechanism by which anxiety-provoking thoughts and feelings are forced to unconsciousness. Suppression is the deliberate or conscious placing of certain ideas, impulses, or images out of awareness. Non-rapid eye movement sleep, NREM, is the first 4 stages of sleep. Theta waves are slow brain waves produced during the hypnagogic state. Delta waves are strong, low brain cells usually emitted during stage 4 of sleep. Alpha waves are rapid, low amplitude brain waves that have been linked to feelings of relaxation. Rapid eye movement, REM sleep, is a stage of sleep categorized by rapid eye movements which have been linked to dreaming. To be conscious is to be aware of and responding to one's surroundings. You are awake. To be unconscious is to be not within thought. You are not awake.